Friends, what is up? Greg Newmaster coming at you again with another action figure review. Oh my goodness. I don't think I've been more excited for a figure than when they released the Thundercats Classics action figures. Today I have Marvel Legends 2-pack Storm and Thunderbird. Not so much caring about Thunderbird. This is going to be a Storm focused video. I have been waiting for this Storm action figure to come out ever since Marvel Legends was created. Never has Marvel Legends released an original costume Storm action figure in their line. Never. They've done it in the Marvel Universe 3.75 scale. Never have they done it original costume Storm as a 6-inch figure. Been waiting for years for them to release this figure. Almost 20 years, I would say, whenever Marvel Legends initially came out. So, finally, they released this figure. I don't know what took them so long. I don't know why they waited. In my opinion, this is her best costume. It's my favorite costume. It's a little bit sexualized, but it was just so cool for the time, and she looks so amazing in it. This is from Giant Size X-Men issue 1. Storm and Thunderbird are both a part of the second incarnation of the team. Let's forget about all the newer stuff that's come on. But initially, when this comic came out, they were the second incarnation of the team. The original X-Men had been captured by the island of Krakoa, like a mutant crazy island. Cyclops escapes, so him and Xavier form a new team. It's the International X-Men. This was such a groundbreaking comic book. It was so huge. We got Wolverine on the team from Canada. We get Thunderbird, the Native American. We get Colossus from Russia. We get Banshee from Ireland. Sunfire from Japan, and then we get Storm from Africa, and Cyclops leading this new team to rescue the original X-Men. Unfortunately, Thunderbird, he dies. Well, actually not unfortunately, because then we get Warpath. But Thunderbird dies in their second mission, so he didn't last very long for whatever reason. Probably because he was sort of an antagonistic character. The way Wolverine was, and Wolverine was more popular. But anyhow, we got Warpath later on in X-Force, and Warpath was a redesign, basically, of Thunderbird, but he was his brother, but he was just bigger and had the knives and was way cooler, in my opinion. But anyhow, so we finally get this 2-pack of Storm and Thunderbird, and Storm is by far, top 5 X-Men of all time. She was incredible on the show. Whoever that voice actress was just phenomenal. Like in the 90s cartoon show, that always stuck with me. And she was always very preachy when she would summon her powers. She'd be like, "Mighty winds of the tundra, I summon you to come and rain down the power of storm." She'd always announce every time she would use her mutant powers, which was really funny. Like she was casting a spell. But of course, in her backstory, she was worshipped as a goddess, and even maybe a weather witch, but she was considered a goddess. So I guess her casting spells would have made sense, even though it wasn't spells, it was her mutant power. But Storm has such a cool backstory. She was a thief. There was the whole arc with her and the Shadow King, and her meeting Xavier, and then her meeting Gambit later on that it was revealed. She was the lover of Forge, the mutant his mutant power is to build anything, pretty much, out of anything. And then later on, the lover of Black Panther, which is even more awesome. And I think she was even with Wolverine at one point, but Wolverine's hooked up with everybody. But she's awesome. Played by the beautiful Halle Berry in the X-Men movies. Played okay. I never would have wanted Halle Berry to be Storm in the first place. I think I always imagined Angela Bassett as Storm. She had the right look, just phenomenal actress, just had that presence and power. If you want to see how good of an actress Angela Bassett is, watch the Tina Turner movie. Just phenomenal performance. But yeah, that's always who I imagine. Halle Berry just didn't have that power and presence in her acting, in my opinion. But she did well nonetheless, and she did a good job. And then later on, Storm was played by Alexandra Shipp, a younger girl, and she did okay too. Still just not evoking that Angela Bassett presence. And they had talked originally, I think early on, about casting Angela Bassett as Storm, but it fell through for whatever reason. But anyhow, Storm, phenomenal character. Sometimes the field leader of the X-Men over Cyclops over the years has led her own team of X-Men. Just phenomenal. And finally, after all this time, we get this version of her. And she's a super powerful mutant. I mean, she controls the weather. I don't know how much more power you would want out of a mutant, but just awesome powers. She could fly, summon tornadoes, rain, ice storms, lightning. She's just pretty stacked as a mutant. So here we go. Let's bust this out and take a look at these two awesome figures. So excited. Here's the packaging. On the side, we get a picture of Thunderbird. On the back, we get a nice looking Thunderbird and Storm image. I recognize this artist, but I forget his name. And then we got Storm on the side there. Really nice artwork. There's the bottom of the package if you guys are curious. And I already cut the tape so I could open it live with you guys so we experience this together. I'm going to keep this packaging just because this seems like a collector's item, and I know already this figure is just skyrocketing on the secondary market. The pre-orders were ridiculously insane. I pre-ordered mine on eBay for around like 110. And, I just wanted this figure that bad that I had to get it. So here we go. I'll do Thunderbird quick. I'll do him first because I don't care about him as much. And then we'll get into Storm. He has like the standard mid-range body mold for Marvel Legends. He's thicker, a little bit bigger. I don't like how they have the loose goods, Hasbro. For whatever reason, they just, there's no reason. I know they don't want to sculpt it, so it's easier to just mass produce these figures, so they just reuse parts. But, they could have glued that on. Look, they glue these on up here, but they can't glue that on down there. That drives me crazy on the Cyclops figure or any 90s X-Men figure that has the straps or whatever that they're loose. I'm okay with the belt being loose. His little bracelets are loose. But it's a good sculpt. I like the head. He was a pretty generic looking figure in his first appearance. Like I said, I think Warpath looks way better. He looks very 70s, 60-ish. With the kind of like the Who and Roger Daltrey, where he has like the leather jacket with the little tassels. Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. But it looks Native American too. Great articulation, as always. All the same typical articulation on Marvel Legends. We got double jointed knees, which is fantastic. Thigh cut. He can't really do a straddle, so that's as far as he can go. Legs can kick up that high. That's what his butt looks like. We got ankle pivot, up and down. There's the actual pivoting right there, as you can see. I love the torso articulation, so he has good crunch, up and down. He's got waist cut, so, he can do the full rotation. There's even like a little clicking mechanism in there, so it's not just like a loose it's not loose where it's joined together here. So there's a component in there that's preventing it from just being floppy and loose, as the figure ages or whatever, which I appreciate that. Head, he goes up that far, down that far. I believe this is on a ball joint. Yeah, so it's on the typical ball joint. So there's a good look at the head. That's a really nice sculpt. Really like it. Hair looks good. Feathers look good. I got a little bit of red from the paint, So, but, these are cheaper figures. Not particularly these ones because everybody wants them. The scalpers buy them, which is really annoying. I know that these have been hitting Target. This is a Target exclusive, I'm pretty sure. What else about him? Yeah, just wrist articulation, standard, nice little belt there. That's what he looks like on the top. That's what he looks like on the bottom. Little pegs for his boots if you put him on a stand. And that's Thunderbird. Who cares? It's nice. We just need Banshee and original looking Banshee, and then we have the original team. So that's all we need. So let's get on to the main event. Mrs. Storm herself. So in display mode here, she has lightning hands, which is really cool. They gave her a lot of accessories, which is really awesome, because we deserve it, because we've waited so long. So we get 2 head sculpts, we get 2 capes that she has. Wow, great figure. I don't know. I may change out these hands, the lightning effects hands. It depends on how you want to pose them. But even this main head sculpt that they put her with the flowing hair and the wind, that's just awesome. She looks great. So I was kind of bummed out that both of her capes are a soft plastic. And I was wishing that they would give a soft goods cape, a cloth one, because, I don't know, I just like cloth capes better than plastic ones. Though this isn't too bad, it's movable, just as long as it's movable. But, all the other Storm figures had a cloth cape. So here's the second one. This is more of a neutral one. I'm not sure which one I'll display her with. And then we have a neutral looking head. Looks just beautiful. I love her little, what are these things called? The things that the girls put in their hairs. This is sort of like a tiara, but it's not. A headband, I guess. But yeah, it just looks beautiful. I'm so glad. It's so cool looking too, and her beautiful hair. Just beautiful, long, and it's white. Let's get a good look at her. And this sculpt looks really great. The paint looks good. The plastic, a little stuck there. So this is really hard for me to move these knees here, but really good. We have the pivot and the ankles there. So I'll go through all the articulation. We got the double jointed knees. They even did an excellent job because they sculpted the knee-high boots, where normally they just paint them on when they mass produce these female figures. So I'm really happy that they sculpted this there. They really did a great job with this figure. They sculpted the bodysuit instead of just painting it. Like there's a little gold clasp. Yeah, so that's nice and sculpted. They really took extra care with this figure. Probably because they knew that people had wanted it for so long. She doesn't have double jointed elbows, but that's more than 90 degrees, and that looks really great. So I'm really happy with that. Just stunning figure. I've been waiting for this for so long. So let's swap. I'm going to be very careful. Oh, yeah. So we got the ball joint on the head. And we're going to swap the capes out. So that's what she looks like without the cape on. See, they even sculpted it up around the neck, which is so nice. Man, they really took special care with this figure than what they normally would. And I'll put the neutral cape on. It's not being blown by the wind. I just wanted, this head peg feels a little loose here, so I'm really nervous because I don't want to snap it. I've had that problem with Storm figures in the past because she's had big heavy hair and the heads just break off. I'll show you some of my older Storm figures I have here. But there's her in a neutral look. Shoulders go all the way out. The cape, it's a hard plastic, so it hinders it a little bit. Probably be better with this cape if you want to bring her arms out further. Great crunch. She's got the crunch there. It looks good too. No waist cut, but that's all right. It makes it look nice. She's got thigh cut as well. She has no bicep cuts, but she has them in her elbows, so she can turn her hands. Like, look at that face sculpt. Oh man, so beautiful. Such a great job. So happy with this figure. This is one of my favorite figures I've ever owned. I've waited for this for years. Love Storm. There's her Storm booty. Even looks good too. Good sculpt in my opinion. Let's see what else we got here. I'm going to set her right there for now. So she comes with 2 sets of hands. So she has 2 sets of open hands. These are just the typical open hands. And this is a nice bonus too. They actually gave her fisted hands, where normally the female figures, for whatever reason, all the female figures have these open hands. And they don't really, many of the female figures don't have fisted hands. So they're always... they need to give them like a neutral hand pose where it's just like a resting hand instead of like, bedazzled hands, spirit finger hands. That's great. So you get a lot of options. Switch these out without, oh man, that's in there. Oh man, I was really afraid that this peg was going to break off inside of there. That was difficult taking that off. So be careful, guys. Be real careful when you get yours, especially that, yeah, so. Yeah, and even her bracelets on her hands, they're sculpted on, which is unusual for these Hasbro Marvel Legends. They just really have tried to just mass produce figures where they just don't take the time in sculpting new figures, so... Man, yeah, I love this figure. I'm going to give her an A, that's for sure. So let's compare her to, she's 6 inches, by the way. The typical Marvel Legends scale. I don't have a tape measure in here, but... So I'll compare her with other Storm figures. So the only other Storm figure that we ever had that looked like this came from the 5-pack. And this is pre-Marvel Legends era. This is right on the cusp of when Marvel Legends came out. And we had a 5-pack of the giant size X-Men. So they did a 5-pack of the original X-Men team, of Cyclops, Iceman, Beast, Angel, and Marvel Girl, Jean Grey. And then they did a giant size X-Men 5-pack with Storm, Banshee, Sunfire, Colossus, and Thunderbird. But they didn't give you Wolverine or Cyclops, which didn't make any sense. But they had this original Storm in there. So she's about, I guess, like 4 inches, 4 to 5 inches. And what I love about this Storm figure is she has the soft goods cape. So I don't know why they didn't do that with this one. So I may swap this out and give it to this Storm, even though it may be a little bit smaller, or just may even make my own. But, yeah, so this is the only other Storm figure in my knowledge that was this original sculpt, and that was this original first appearance Storm. And unfortunately, my Storm of this one, the head broke off. This happened to me all the time, so I'd have to put a screw in, and I'd have to do surgery on the figure, and I'd really damage it. As you can see, there's a lot of scratches there. Here's another old school Toy Biz Storm. That was from like the late 90s, like with Joe Madureira. Really loved his artwork. And then this was the first Marvel Legends Storm, Toy Biz version. This was the over-articulated figure. This was a really great figure. She came with a big diorama stand. It was a tornado. And, you know, they actually did a good job with this figure compared to the other females, because the other females were over-articulated. But this one's just right. They did a really good job on her. So I love this figure. I still have it. It was really hard to come by. And her cape here is a real soft rubber. And it hasn't deteriorated, thank God, unlike other figures. But this is, yeah, so this is more 90s, 80s, 90s Storm versus the original. But, yeah, this is a great figure as well. Then we have Hasbro's version of the 90s Storm from the cartoon in the white costume. This is more how we all knew her. See, and they gave her the soft good cape. So once again, I would have liked it if they would have given her this one and then a soft good cape as well. But, and then we could probably do a head swap just so you can see what that looks like. But I want to be very careful because I don't want to break it off. And, okay. Really makes me nervous. Probably shouldn't do this. Yeah, so there, head swap with Storm there. So additional options. And then the last Storm that I own is Mohawk Storm, which is when Storm got depowered in the 80s by Forge accidentally because he built a machine that took away mutants' powers. And then we have the Mohawk. We could throw the Mohawk on this, and oh, that looks really awesome. That kind of looks like Alexandra Shipp in X-Men Apocalypse. So really wonderful figure, guys. This is definitely one figure that I've been waiting for longer than any other. So glad I have it now. Hasbro did an excellent job. They really took special care with this figure. You get lots of nice accessories. You get the additional angry head with the flowing hair. You get you get 3 sets of hands. So Storm and Thunderbird 2-pack Target exclusive. Marvel Legends, highly recommend this figure. Get your hands on it quick before it skyrockets in price. If you guys like the video, please like and subscribe. God bless you all. Peace.